Hello again. Reports regularly emerge from organisations such as the Roundtree Trust, claiming that many millions of people in this country are living in abject poverty. In the description to this video, I give a link to one such document, which suggests that a fifth of the British population are living in poverty. These figures are almost invariably based upon the number of those receiving benefits, such as free school meals or universal credit. Unfortunately, calculations which rely upon such statistics often bear little relation to the true state of affairs. Those who work with such officially poverty-stricken families, as I did for many years, particularly those in deprived urban areas, have long observed a curious paradox, namely that their clients are frequently better dressed than they are themselves. The typical Hackney social worker all too often looks as though she's been kitted out at the local Oxfam shop, whereas the families whom she visits on run-down housing estates are commonly clad in designer gear and are dripping with ostentatious gold jewellery. Their homes tend to have enormous plasma screens, and they always appear to be able to afford the latest iPhone. Yet these are the very same families who are officially struggling to survive on the breadline. Many of those working within the city families never even meet a genuinely poor family. Let's see why this should be. A glance at the actual amounts paid out for various state benefits should tell us immediately that something fishy is going on. A single unemployed person, for instance, is expected to live on less than £85 a week. I give a link to this figure in the description to this video from the government website. Housing benefit might cover most of the cost of the rent, but that £83.72 has to cover everything else. Food, clothes, electricity, gas, telephone bills, TV licenses, absolutely everything. Now, obviously, a pair of shoes would swallow up half this weekly budget, and a gas bill would absorb 2 or 3 weeks of it, leaving no money for food or clothes. 13 million people in Britain are supposed to be wholly dependent upon this sum of money each week. If so, then they would all be either barefoot, starving, or freezing to death. This is manifestly not the case, so what is really going on? The truth of the matter is that practically nobody in this country relies entirely on payments from the social security system in order to live, regardless of what official figures might suggest. Nearly everybody has at least one undeclared source of income to supplement the social. Often this consists of part-time work. Unregistered childminding is a popular little job on many housing estates, looking after other people's children after school or taking their babies in during the day. Cleaning jobs are also common, provided that they are cash in hand. Council tenants sometimes sublet their properties as well, taking in lodgers to provide more money, and others do small-scale drug dealing or work shifts in care homes. There are limitless ways to make a little extra here and there. Shocking reports on domestic poverty, the kind of thing which is bread and butter work for journalists of the Guardian newspaper, always emphasise the huge number of children living in low-income homes, especially those in lone-parent households. But in many ways, they actually do best of all out of what is sometimes called the black economy. Most single mothers have private arrangements. I'd say most, or many, probably most, have private arrangements for child maintenance. If they name the child's father to the social security authorities, then they might pursue the luckless fellow and take £120 a week from him, say. This will not benefit the mother in the slightest, as a whole lot will be taken by the state to offset the amount that she is given in benefits. Far better from her point of view to strike a deal with the man, whereby he gives her half the amount unofficially in cash. This is to everybody's advantage. The woman is £60 a week better off, and so is the man, for he's paying only half of what he would have to in an official arrangement. The mother simply tells the relevant agency that her baby was the result of a drunken one-night stand. She doesn't know the father's name. An awful lot of single mothers in inner city areas are cohabiting, either permanently or intermittently, with a man. If the man is working, then this is a cheap berth for him, as the rent is covered by housing benefit. As long as he pulls his weight, the financial situation for supposedly one-parent household can be pretty good. It must also be borne in mind that there's a raft of other financial advantages for those who are reliant on state benefits: free dentistry, free prescriptions, and so on. For those living in social housing, the advantages can be very great. If my boiler packs up, I might have to shell out a couple of thousand for a new one. For a tenant of a housing association, the cost will be nothing. Someone breaks one of my windows, I'll have to pay for it, but if you're living in a council house, the council will do it. A final word about the definition of poverty used today. This is that a person is poor if he or she has an income or standard of living which is below a certain proportion of the national average, perhaps below 60%. In a wealthy society such as our own, this definition is completely meaningless. The average home in Britain has 2 or 3 television sets. Can it really be true that only one colour television should be an indicator of poverty? There's a good deal more to the idea of millions of paupers in this country than actually meets the eye.